Since early man, our imagination has been captivated by ideas of the vast and unfathomable sky above. Its magnificence has inspired us, and to many, it represents a sacred place, heaven. Yet humans have never ceased to explore the mysteries of the skies. In 2016, from the karst mountains of southwestern China emerged the world's largest radio telescope, known as FAST, the so-called Eye of Heaven. This 500-meter diameter telescope captures each year thousands of electrical signals from 3 billion light-years away. Though seen by some as evidence of extraterrestrial life, scientists know that the places from which the signals originated will have experienced untold changes over billions of years. If someone on a distant planet was at this very moment observing us through a similar telescope, they would see Earth as it was hundreds of millions of years ago. What did Earth, the continents, and China look like then? The grand stage is set for countless unique stories of survival to unfold. Qianmen Mountain in Hunan Province is one of the most treacherous mountain ranges in China. Every year, top wingsuit flyers from around the world gather here to push themselves to the limit. Wingsuit flying is one of the most dangerous extreme sports. Zhang Shupeng is the only Chinese athlete taking part in this competition. After leaping from a peak of 1,500 meters high, Shupeng glides through the air like a bird. He uses the airbags in his suit to generate lift while adjusting the body to control speed and direction. Soaring at a speed of 200 kilometers an hour, he is aiming for a target less than 1 meter in diameter suspended between the mountains. The bullseye is pierced in the blink of an eye. Swooping through the scenery like a bird is every wingsuit flyer's dream. For the mountains and valleys below, this thrilling sight is merely a fleeting moment in history. They stand as silent witnesses as they did amid the drastic changes that took place on Earth long before humans emerged.
我们中国所有的板块原来都从南半球来的，不在北半球，然后呢慢慢的往北推，大概3亿年到2亿年的以前的时期，整个的板块慢慢的往北推过来的。 大概在2亿5千万年左右的时候，中国80%以上的陆块拼在一块了。
Earth's evolution predates human history by eons. Since its birth 4.6 billion years ago, the planet's tectonic plates have drifted continuously on magma oceans. The area that now forms China slowly took shape in the northern hemisphere. Mountain ranges rose, crisscrossing and dividing the land of China like a chessboard. The southwestern part of China was covered by a vast ocean. This was the case for hundreds of millions of years until an unexpected collision led to the creation of the geographical and climatic pattern we see today. At the Mount Chumalongma base camp on the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, at an altitude of 5,200 meters, the mountain elevation measurement team is fine-tuning its equipment in preparation for climbing to the summit. Mount Chumalongma, the main peak in the Himalayas, is the tallest mountain on Earth. China has measured the mountain's elevation several times, most recently in 2005, when the peak was measured at 8,844.43 meters. On this trip, the team aims to further calibrate the data. After a night of snow and strong winds, the team begins its climb to the summit. Every step requires effort. The land beneath these mountaineers' feet looked very different 100 million years ago. Then the area would have been entirely submerged in water. Around 65 million years ago, the northward moving Indian plate collided with and thrust beneath the Eurasian plate. One corner of the Eurasian plate kept rising, forming the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, the youngest and highest plateau on Earth. The formation of the plateau is regarded the most significant geological development of the past 500 million years. This vast area includes all 14 mountains on Earth that stand above 8,000 meters, most of those over 7,000 meters, and countless more reaching to 5,000 or 6,000 meters. As one of the regions with the most intense tectonic movement, the plateau continues to rise at an average rate of over 4 millimeters a year.
从全球的角度来看，这个青藏高原还是比较突出的一个面积比较大的高原。高原隆起呢，基本上就是因为是地质的过程，时间比较长，而且从6000万年以后嘛，逐渐抬升，对我们中国的这个大陆的这个态势啊，还发生很大的影响。
西边的青藏高原呢，由于印度板块撞到亚洲板块上，它就起来了之后，本来东边有高山，有比较高的山，没有像青藏高原那么高，所以呢，一些河流呢就可以往西流。等到青藏高原起来以后，整个地形变了，气候变了。我的比喻就是在这个之后，导致了中国的地形倒转。
As the climbing season nears its end, the snow and winds are finally easing. The Mount Chumalongma elevation measurement team seizes its opportunity and starts its ascent to the summit.
队长，大尾鹰呼叫，听到没有？请回答。你们现在的高度在什么高度？现在的高度在什么高度？
那个岩石在上面走了，走了之后马上就到这个地方。
上部风有点大，马上到。
今天是2020年5月27日11点，浙江登山队指导队长带领的高层测量登山队现在登上了珠穆朗玛峰。
After days of arduous trekking, the team finally reaches the summit. The mountaineers use a signal receiver connected to Beidou, China's global navigation satellite system, to carry out their measurement. It's the first time such a system has been used for the task. The elevation of the summit of the world's highest peak, Chomolungma, is once again revised, this time to 8,848.86 meters, 4.43 meters higher than the measurement 15 years ago. The towering mountains reach into the sky, the clouds adorning them like an elegant coat. Over tens of millions of years, the mountains in southwestern China have given rise to a majestic world of ice and snow. Locals believe that the mountains are the incarnations of deities and guardians. Yet high mountains can also mean isolation. Today, people are making efforts to connect this snowy plateau with the vast land beyond. Located in the northwest province of Yunnan, the Gaoli-Gung Mountains are an important part of the Hengduan mountain range on the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau. The terrain is rugged, with a maximum peak-to-valley of 4,000 meters. It's a region with rich biodiversity, serving as a genetic reservoir for global species. For human inhabitants, however, the Gaoli-Gung Mountains are a barrier to accessing inland areas. An electrified railway between Dali and Ruili in Yunnan, which passes through this area, has been under construction since 2007. Once completed, train passengers will be able to cross these mountains in just over 10 minutes. Construction crews have worked day and night inside the mountain for the past 4 years. To access the site, workers are carried down a vertical shaft over 700 meters deep. On top of the usual dangers that come with blasting and excavation projects, the work is being carried out around underground hot springs, which could erupt at any moment. Around 300 cubic meters of water pours down onto the workers every hour. As the temperature in the tunnel reaches almost 40 degrees Celsius, trucks rapidly deliver tons of ice, while high-powered fans are deployed to cool the air. Workers have faced constant hazards throughout the construction of the tunnel. The main reason for these conditions is the collision of tectonic plates 65 million years ago. The tremendous impact not only caused the rapid elevation of the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, but also the folding of the surrounding terrain. The Gaoli-Gung Mountains are part of the numerous folds at the southern edge of the plateau. The fractured rock layers have posed exceptional challenges to construction. Engineers follow a detailed plan to guide the workers, injecting ultrafine cement slurry into the fractured strata to fill the gaps. The flooding danger is finally under control.
在隧道里面，就这几平方，我们整整停了2个多月。我把你的泥、水、沙，最后换成我的水泥、混凝土、钢铁，最后才通过这种措施，慢慢的才把这个隧道推过去。
In China, progress is made on building a new expressway, elevated bridge, or mountain tunnel every day. Conquering the mountain terrain has become a way of life for people of China. However, modern civilization and nature aren't always at odds with each other. As the glaciers on the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau slowly melt, water gathers in small streams that wind their way through the rugged mountains, bringing vitality to the land and the creatures that live there.
左前方山顶上见了吗？哦，有雪。今天早上大概过了多少只呀？100多。今天天气挺好的，有可能下午还过。好像那边还有20多只，一会儿我们再去看一下。
In May and June, rangers at the Hoshil Nature Reserve in the northeast of the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau monitor the daily passage of Tibetan antelope that pass through their assigned zone. Covering a vast area of 45,000 square kilometers and reaching an altitude of over 4,500 meters, the nature reserve is China's largest and highest. A massive migration of antelope and other species of ungulate takes place here at this time each year. Tens of thousands of female Tibetan antelope from Qinghai Province, Xizang Autonomous Region and Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region congregate before journeying to Tectonic Lake to birth their calves. They then lead their young back to their habitats. Shortly before sunset, Norbu Dongdre and his colleagues set out. Traveling along the migration route, they look for any injured antelope that may have strayed or fallen behind. Although only in his late 20s, Norbu Dongdre is a seasoned ranger. Safely escorting Tibetan antelope through the reserve is the team's most important task during the breeding and migration season.
你跟着追进去干啥去啊？本来刚刚羊要过的，你看啥子？这会你看啥？羊都跑完了。你看咋跑了？会回来的，它还是会回来的羊。
To complete their journey, the migrating Tibetan antelope must cross National Highway 109, the busiest road between Qinghai and Xizang. Whenever Norbu Dongdre and his colleagues spot herds of antelopes approaching the road, they will halt passing vehicles to allow the cautious animals to cross safely.
你好，师傅，钥匙关掉一会儿，羊一过你们就可以走哦。回去了。头羊开始要上了。喇叭讲嘛去啊，弟弟，打车落速去喇叭讲嘛去啊，再堵一下3块对了。你看，接着一个打车一个，把握住啊，这个羊一下就过了啊。开始过了。
After several minutes of hesitation, hundreds of Tibetan antelope successfully cross the Qinghai-Tibet Highway.
来，你就抓这点啊。
This antelope calf is only 2 months old. It was found to have a head injury. Without the quick intervention of the protection station rangers, its situation could have been tragic. Barring any complications, this fortunate calf will be able to return to the herd in a few months.
哎呀，好吧，我的伯伯好胖。来，嘿。
Biologists still haven't determined why Tibetan antelope travels such a long distance to give birth at Tectonic Lake. Some believe that it is the lush vegetation and relatively humid climate around the lake that compel them to take this risk. Yet, the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau has thousands of lakes, just like Tectonic Lake. Glaciers, lakes, rivers and underground streams supply a vast amount of fresh water, sustaining not only the wildlife on the plateau, but also nearly half of the world's population.
那我们知道冰川都在2极地区， 那么在中低纬度地区，除了这个非洲的乞力马扎罗，还有南美的安第斯山有这个冰川以外，那么就是中国的青藏高原这一带巨大的冰川，这是我们把它叫做第3级的原因。那么这种巨大的冰川呢，就是汇聚了很多周围的这种水汽，那么形成了我们就称之为亚洲水塔。
The Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, known as the Asian Water Tower, offers the gift of water in all directions, serving as the source of multiple major rivers in Asia. In northwest China, the Heihe and Tarim rivers flow toward the Heshi Corridor and the Tarim Basin, feeding desert oases. In East China, the Yangtze and the Yellow Rivers, which gave life to Chinese civilization, flow downstream. In southwest China, the Lancang, Nujiang, Yalong Zangbo rivers and other waterways flow over borders, nurturing many regions of Asia.
长江、黄河、珠江这三大河流，它流域面积不是最大的，流量也不是最大的，但是它提供的可耕的土地是最多的。东面就形成了平原、三角洲、冲积盆地，互相可以连通，可以修运河，三大河流可以连成一体，这个世界上没有。
The continuous flow fueled by glacial meltwater has laid the foundation for water systems in China and even across Asia, and the impact of these mountains on China goes much further, even extending kilometers into the atmosphere. When viewed from space, the Earth's midsection reveals a faint belt of yellow desert, the result of the dry, subsiding air currents near the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. Remarkably, as this belt extends into southeastern China, it transforms into a lush green landscape.
所以一般的在那个30度左右是一个干旱带，沙特阿拉伯什么沙漠就在那个位置上，在那个撒哈拉大沙漠什么都在这个位置上啊。唯独中国不是，唯独中国不是的原因呢，就要靠的青藏高原，就是青藏高原隆起了，隆起以后呢，整个把那个气流的方向改掉。
With an average altitude of over 4,000 meters, the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau receives more solar radiation than the low-altitude plains. As the heated surface air rises in this region, air masses from the surrounding areas converge here to compensate for the loss of air, effectively turning the plateau into a massive air pump. Consequently, the East Asian monsoons originating in the Pacific Ocean become significantly more intense in the summer, carrying warm and humid air inland from eastern China. This phenomenon dispels the arid conditions near the 30th North Parallel and creates a rainy season in the Jiangnan region, which encompasses the area south of the lower reaches of the Yangtze. Xianzhou County nestles in the hills and mountains of Zhejiang Province. Its name, which translates as Home of Deities, was inspired by the scenery created by its frequent drizzle and rising mists. Bayberries have grown in the area for 7,000 years. The small fruit ripens every June. Shortly before 6 a.m., Zhu Shituen and his neighbors in Yang'an village head to the hills. Shituen is 60 years old, and his children all live outside the county. Only he and his wife remain to tend to their old house and nearly 100 bayberry trees. This year's harvest is excellent, with some trees yielding up to 300 kilograms of bayberries. June and July are the plum rain season in the Jiangnan region, with continuous rainfall lasting for about a month. During this time, bayberry farmers must pick the fruit within 2 weeks to prevent it from being dislodged by the rain or getting spoiled in the hot weather. Today, the last batch of bayberries has been harvested. Shi Tuan will send the freshest and most tasty fruit to his children. The rest will be used to make bayberry wine, a local favorite. Making good use of local resources is a basic way of life for Chinese people. The East Asian monsoon, driven by the air pump effect of the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, brings abundant rainfall to southeastern China, resulting in a pleasant climate and fertile land.
这个季风给我们带来什么好处呢？它的优点就是它来的时候是夏天，夏天是温度高的时候。那么高温季节雨来了，这个我们地理学上叫什么呢？叫雨热同季。到冬天呢，热量也少了，雨水也少了啊，那可以休耕，所以我们是四季分明，春播秋，秋收冬藏，这是形成了一个农业的最佳的气候环境。
However, as the Jiangnan region embraces clear waters and lush mountains, the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau stands like an impregnable fortress, obstructing the northward advance of the moisture-laden Indian monsoon. As a consequence, northwestern China endures arid conditions and limited rainfall, finding itself encircled by the Gobi and other deserts. Minqin County in Gansu Province is located at the junction of the Badain, Jiaran and Tengge deserts in northwest China. Every spring, it experiences strong winds and sandstorms. These storms carry sand and gravel, reducing visibility to less than 10 meters, with wind speeds reaching level 7. For those living year-round in such windy and arid conditions, this phenomenon is all too familiar.
那么你要让把那草抬过来，把前期缺不杀，抓紧时间，就是趁着老风还没来呢，收放之前草不就吹掉了。
When severe sandstorms strike, people seek refuge. When the storms subside, they stabilize the sands. People in the desert have learnt to adapt, striving to create the optimal living conditions. The Gobi and deserts in the northwest occupy 13% of China's land area. They constitute an essential part of Chinese territory.
中国的南方，我刚才讲是干旱，到了2-3千万年以后呢，它就变成潮湿，东边变潮湿了。我们的干旱带呢，本来中国的中部是一条干旱带，后来就赶到西北去了，到新疆去了，新疆、内蒙古、蒙古、新疆，现在跑那儿去了。
With the emergence of vast northwest deserts and the rainy Jiangnan region, China's land gradually formed 3 natural regions, namely the northwestern arid and semi-arid region, the eastern monsoon region, and the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau cold region. They constitute the most fundamental and macroscopic framework of China's territory, as dust from the northwest has been carried into the sky by strong westerly winds and accumulated in central China, it has given rise to this unique Loess landscape. Yulin in Shanxi province is situated deep within the vast Loess Plateau with deep soil layers and numerous Loess hills. Shortly after the annual Spring Festival holiday, the temperature drops to nearly -20 degrees Celsius. Despite the bitter cold, 3 researchers from the Chinese Academy of Sciences Research Center for Eco-Environmental Sciences and Soil and Water Conservation have made the journey here.
不一样的，有他们是吧独特的这种景色。
那我们是要找鸡眼的地方吗？
对，就找一些那种
很分明的那种感觉。但是鸡眼的话，往往就是一般就是在沟底，
对，最低处。
The Loess Plateau covers an area of over 600,000 square kilometers, spanning 7 provinces and regions, namely Qinghai, Gansu, Ningxia, Inner Mongolia, Shanxi, Shanxi, and Henan. Accounting for about 6% of China's total land area, it is the world's largest Loess region.
它可能就是沟壑深度比较深一些，所以待会儿咱们可能要辛苦一点，然后要从那个沟里面下去。
The researchers aim to monitor soil erosion by measuring the thickness of loess. Following traces of water flow, the team arrives at a dry river valley and identifies the crucial boundary between loess and bedrock. This is a key point for measuring loess thickness.
就最高那儿，就那儿，看到没？啊，对，就有个石头那儿。
黄土它是一个第4纪风尘堆积的一个产物，它的一个特征就是由于风不停地吹，那么它土壤颗粒组成相对比较均一，那么就是这样作为我们黄土的厚度测量，就有一个很好的一个基础，就是黄土它下面就相当于是一个盆地，那么上面都是堆的黄土，那么盆地下面就是基岩，我们可以通过寻找黄土和基岩之间的位置差来大概确定这个黄土的厚度。
Over more than 2 months, researchers carried out measurements at 264 points, some of which were over 100 meters above the valley floor. Through comprehensive calculations, they determined that the average thickness of the Loess Plateau is 69 meters, equivalent to the height of a 20-story building.
黄土高原主要是西部沙漠 吹来的粉沙，慢慢堆积成功的那个沙漠地区塔克拉玛干阿拉善这都有沙漠地区。冬天的季风吹下来，那么堆下来了，一点一点就堆起来。所以这个黄土呢，它有个特点，颗粒非常细，而且非常匀，因为风它有个晒点，非常匀称，而且很肥沃。
Over tens of millions of years, sand and dust from deserts in northwest China were carried steadily eastward against the northern Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, reaching areas to the west of the Taihang Mountains and north of the Qingling Mountains. Gradually, it settled, ultimately forming the largest, thickest and most continuous loess deposition area on Earth. This deep and vast loess also gave rise to unique forms of habitation. In the south of the Loess Plateau, there's a village that at first glance appears to have few houses. However, stand at a higher position and you will see many square-shaped sunken courtyards, which the locals call pit courtyards.
太小主要得太小。就的。
不够吃。
不够吃。走，都下来。辛苦你了呀。我一个新单子，我这要买个了嘞。我虽然什么凑，看怎么样。
好。
Like most villages in northern China, neighbors often gather to sing and chat to pass the time.
娘家不义，周下庄，官司大了， 2年多，官司打了3年整，才把媳妇来信托要知道。
82-year-old Ren Mengzang, the owner of this pit courtyard, has spent his entire life in the village. His children have moved elsewhere in the county, but he and his wife choose to stay as they feel uncomfortable among the tall modern buildings of urban areas.
上下没通不方便，你都想吃平平，人家说吃鸡头就吃一下就进到院里头，冷天冷的，热天热的，这空气不好。
To build a pit courtyard requires digging a square hole 6 meters deep and excavating cave-like rooms in the walls. Mengzang believes that these courtyards, adapted to local conditions, are not inferior to concrete ones. Loess soil with its strong compressive strength makes the courtyard sturdy and straightforward to build. Access is provided through a corner ramp, and there's a dry well in the courtyard for drainage. Here, the villagers can enjoy the companionship of their neighbors. The pit courtyard is a form of cave dwelling dating back over 3,000 years to the Zhou dynasty, circa 11th century to 256 BC. There are also other numerous cave dwellings scattered across the vast Loess Plateau, most of them built into the Loess cliffs and arranged in horizontal rows. From a distance, they appear stacked and orderly, creating a unique cultural landscape.
所以它比较松软，你用那个比较原始的木头或者是石头工具，就能够开垦，所以它开垦起来这个难度不大，然后黄土的这个直立性也比较强，那么你掏窑洞啊什么的很方便，也比较利于居住，这可能都比较适合这个早期人类选择这个地方生存。
它就是当时人们还用石器的阶段，那个最容易耕种的是黄土，疏松的黄土，所以中华文明的就实际上就是一个黄土的文明。早期的就是为什么沿着黄河流域先起来呢？就是这样一个最主要的一个道理。
因为早期呢，人类对自然环境的依赖性特别大，它地形比较平坦，所以可以形成整片的农业区。 那么有了整片的农业区，它才可以养活更多的人口。所以从这个角度讲呢，这个自然环境提供的条件，它就决定了早期这个文明的发展的方向和路径。所以中国呢，就这样就形成一个农业社会。
For thousands of years, Chinese relied on agriculture to thrive. The cultural genes of Chinese civilization were deeply rooted, nurtured, spread and strengthened in the Loess Plateau. In the 1950s, archaeologists discovered a prehistoric site dating over 4,000 years in Taosi village, in a hilly region of the Loess Plateau in Shanxi province. Over the next half-century, numerous astonishing discoveries were made.
这就是我们发现的100多片版画当中几件比较好的，上面有一些比较特殊的纹样，戳点纹，这一面是光面的，都和秦庄汉瓦都很接近。
These seemingly unremarkable tiles revealed that civilization had emerged over 4,000 years ago in the depths of the Loess Plateau. During the excavation of the Taosi site, one particular relic drew great attention from archaeologists. This relic is situated on a rammed earth platform with 13 pillars arranged in a curved pattern along the edge. Between the 11 rammed earth piles are gaps of approximately 20 centimeters. If one were to draw lines along these gaps on the ground, those lines would converge at a center point.
像手电筒一道光柱出来，太阳升高是不是光柱长啊？太阳升高，光柱长，太阳继续升，
这个光柱，你看今天已经升起来了，啪打到原点，这光柱打到原点就是节气，打不到原点，平常都是打偏的，都是在那个点的两边两侧。
It turned out to be a simple yet precise and practical ancient observatory. When sunlight passes through the gaps between the pillars and reaches the center point, it indicates the start of a solar term. This discovery indicates that the system of 24 solar terms was already in use in Chinese agriculture over 4,000 years ago. At the time, farmers had already learnt to calculate the timing for planting millet, broomcorn millet, rice and beans based on the solar terms. There were other astonishing discoveries in the Taoce site, such as a meticulously planned ancient city covering an area of 2.8 million square meters, ritual objects, musical instruments, bronze artifacts, and a rudimentary writing system. All these findings indicate that the Taoce culture was an example of early Chinese civilization.
黄土高原和黄河中下游的平原，它是资源不够，但是它容易这个开发，所以小规模的人口聚居的人口就在不断的拓展中间变成一个相对大规模甚至大规模的人口。这个过程也就是一个不同的这个人群和文化之间变成有越来越多越来越密切的交流的这个过程。社会控制的需求增加了，而社会控制的能力也在随着这个人口的扩大，它在增加。
虽然比如长江流域啊，辽河流域啊，蒙古高原的边缘呐，都产生过早期的文明，但是呢，他们要发展成为一个大的连成一片的这样一种文明呢，这个比较起来是黄河中下游，就黄土高原和黄土冲积的平原，这个条件最好。
On this vast Loess Plateau, cultures and civilizations emerged over different periods, laying the foundation for ancient Chinese civilization. China has always been diverse and multidimensional. From the Yellow River to the Yangtze River, from the northern frontier to the Jiangnan region, we can find prehistoric civilizations rooted in distinct geographical environments. Over thousands of years, these vibrant cultures coalesced into a unified, multi-ethnic, modern China. When the residents of China's eastern plains head to work in the morning sun, herders on the western grasslands are still enjoying a good night's sleep. While heavy snow blankets the northern borderlands, islands in the South China Sea are filled with the songs of birds and the fragrance of flowers. These scenes coexist wondrously in China. Today, China encompasses 9.6 million square kilometers of land and over 4 million square kilometers of water area. Yet this is only part of the story.
中国往西南方向去，大山；直接往南部去是那些群岛，再往西部去，大山、大漠，就是这些，它都使得中国在地理上构成一个相对孤立的单元。它离其他的大的文明区离得近的有巨大的山脉阻隔，没有山脉阻隔的离得特别远。
我们的人口在可耕的地，在世界上我们是很吃亏的。我们相当多的地方是半干旱带，不是个湿地的地方。
地大物博是一种赞美词，诗的语言。实际上，中国地大，物虽然也很薄，但是呢，跟我们的人相比，我们人太多。像世界上各国，在我们这样一个狭小的中国的1/3的平原地区，能够生存10亿以上的人，世界独有。
how to traverse deserts, how to fight against floods, how to get food from the land, how to explore uncharted territories across vast seas. Being home to 1.4 billion people, China must strive to adapt to the land. This is the history of China and its people. A unique story of coexistence and mutual dependence between humanity and the land.